Hey.
Hey, happy Friday.
Friday. Yes.
It's Friday.
What's going on? What's going on?
Toasted up, everybody. What's going on?
Yes.
Is that a Moquita sighting? That's a Moquita sighting?
Hey, Miles.
Hold on, dog. I thought Moquita
had them broke up with us.
Never.
Hold on, dog. That is Moquita, the AKA member of the Divine Nine.
It is. It is.
Yes.
That's right.
The newest member.
Remember, you got to add a K and an A on the end of her name now, so it's Moki Daka.
That's hilarious.
Moki Daka. I done heard it all.
To the Divine Nine, sis. Welcome
Thank
to
you,
the
sis.
Divine
I appreciate it. I have been on cloud 9 all week long, and I expect to be on it for the rest of my life.
That's right.
Nice.
That's right. It's all about that service.
Thanks for saving my spot. I appreciate you all not giving me
I too have known a few AKs that have taken me to Cloud 9, Moquita, so I identify.
The white
Amen.
ridiculous.
Oh,
Thank
boy.
you.
Amen. I ended up marrying one.
We're only a minute in.
Fly said he got a Delta go to hell. and you know the rest.
And you know the rest, absolutely.
I'm just saying we got something in common, Moquita.
You know what I'm saying?
Funny. That is funny.
Just let you know, I married one, so I'm on Cloud 9 as well. I'm on Cloud 9.
Yes, Belinda came to my celebration virtually. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So what's been going on, y'all? What I miss?
What's up, Jake? What we doing?
Oh my God.
I don't know if you noticed, Moquita.
We have
racism is still a thing.
That's what I was waiting for.
That's
You was
hilarious.
waiting for what? You waiting for what?
I was waiting for Roy to talk about his Cloud 9 experience, so I'm just over here like this.
Right,
That's
just
why
sitting
you
there,
cheesing.
just sitting there waiting,
My internet keeps going in and out, so I keep going in and out.
So I'm gonna speak for
Miss
him.
Modkin, see, he has direct evidence of his Cloud 9 experiences, and their names are Harper and Dallas.
All right. Okay, Miles. Thank you for sticking up for your
Miles helped you out.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's be clear. Roy's about to sing John Legend in a second, Jessica, but we don't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? That would have been trademark infringement. You would have been walking. We don't.
Well, check this out. I want to see that you guys check out this clip. In a minute, we're gonna have to bring on Kendrick, because let me tell you, brother, be bringing some topics that is definitely on trend. And Ebony, you're gonna have to show Kendrick what it's like to be up in the clouds. So look, check this clip out, y'all.
With what the plight that they're going through right now, you don't have black friends. You know black people. There's a difference between the two.
That is true.
See, that's what we're starting to see when they speak out. The Brian Urlachers and all these others talk about, I got black friends. No, you know black people, because you lack empathy. You see what they're going through. You see what's happening, and you pretend because it's political. If you
That's
Facts.
All facts.
Hey man,
I was about to call all my friends up.
So I always, ever since I've been in my profession, and they come to me and they'll be like, "Yeah, man, we're friends," or what have you. And I'd be like, "Yeah, we're friends. What's my wife's name?
Right.
What's my kid's name? Hold on, we ain't got to go there. What's my mama name?
Mm-hmm. What's my last name? What's my last name?
Right. Where am I from?
Right.
Man, we ain't friends.
Right. Hey, Latif, you might have to get rid of me, because I don't know some of the people in your family's name either.
Please, whatever. Okay, that's what we ain't friends neither. We ain't friends neither.
But Roy, you know where to go get them names, though, don't you, Roy?
Right.
Hey.
But the whole premise of this whole thing is that when they try to bring, they use that term so loosely, and they use it loosely, and being amongst,
I got
being in the
5 black
community,
friends.
right? Being in the black community, and then especially being in the Divine Nine, you understand what that term means, and that term holds weight, and there's a cost for that, and there's a cost to be a friend. Like you know that, you know what it is, and so therefore,
your friend, you have to show yourself friendly.
Whenever you come to me talking about we're friends and we're B, because every time I mention or I talk about the ill wills that or the injustices that have been done to me, you cop it up as an anomaly, and it's not an anomaly. It's my life.
Right. Facts. All facts.
All facts. I'm gonna tell you this though. That made me think. It really makes you think about who is really in your inner circle.
And it ain't none of them. And it ain't none of them.
Let me just say this too. It also even the ones that are black.
Right. I mean,
you can add family in there too. It makes you really think like, who really is my friend?
So look here, man. One of my homeboys hit me up. So Makita, you probably know about this. His childhood friend who he grew up with has announced his candidacy to run against Reverend Warnock for that Senate seat. So this is another brother of excuse me, I do not want to use that term. This is another person who is running against the brother who took on the seat. So he was like, dog, and it's just so ironic. He said, I was driving home and a raccoon ran in front of me. I said, did you hit it? He said, nah, I missed it. I said, oh, there's the problem.
Not a raccoon. You're crazy.
Not the coon.
Right.
Not the coon.
Thank you, TP, because I wasn't following them.
Right.
Oh yeah, you gotta go. You gotta know the coon reference.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I just remember growing up and thinking, like, you want to have a lot of friends, but as you continue to mature and you get older, you realize that, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is not meant to be your friend, number one. And you gotta keep that thing tight.
Yeah.
Because listen, people be out here on some other stuff, and you just stuff that you don't even want to be associated with. So it's true, and you gotta be mindful of who you have, and that's
true. I'm gonna tell y'all this. I said, I told myself I'm gonna be nice to all the battles because if I'm rude to one of them, half of all my friends is gone.
Boy, they gang. The battle's gang.
Who they run deep?
Hey, I've always maintained that I've always had two principles for friendship. Number one, if I've always defined it very simply, a very simplistic definition. If I can call on you in my time of need, then you're my friend. If I cannot, then we are not friends. And secondly, I realized, especially as I got older, that me personally, with my personality, I'm not made to be friends with everybody. I'm an acquired taste. So, and I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine with that. I'm not meant to be friends with everybody because I don't walk.
If that ain't the truth.
Yeah, I don't really look friendly in the first place. I don't look like a person that you really want to be friends with, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with
that. Hey, the funny thing is, so and here's Miles' acquired taste. So and this is getting a little bit off subject, but I was out of town and I wanted to see some episodes of a particular show. So I said, hey man, let me get your login and your stuff for DirecTV so I can watch this stuff. And he was like, all right. And he sent it to me. And I said, dog, it didn't work. He said, hold on. Okay, try this one. So I tried it again I tried it again and it didn't work. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even bother him because all he going to do is just get agitated at the fact that I can't log in and he giving me janky login situations and stuff. Right. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it alone. So like when I came back home and he was like, hey, T, did that login thing work? I was like, nah, it never worked. I said, but I know how you are and I ain't feel like going through that with you. So I just left it alone. He was like, nah, man. He said, I wanted to know because I need to correct that with them and such and such. And I was like, okay, go ahead and correct it then.
That is hilarious.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Go ahead and correct it.
He's giving him the wrong password.
No, but hold on.
You see this libel that's been brought against me today?
Hold on. My baby sister can attest to the iniquities of this young man.
Not the iniquities.
The iniquities.
No lies.
So I'll have to tell you,
iniquity. No lies.
With regard to friendships, I learned when I had my health crisis who some of my closest friends were. There were some people that I thought would be there that weren't. And then there were some people who I would have been okay with them not being there because I understood how far away they were. But when I opened my eyes and my girl Jay Beasy, Jessica Motkins was in my room, and I was like, wait a minute, where am I? How did you, what? Wait.
How you get here? They took me to you?
Wait, am I in Florida? What's going on?
Right, TT, right.
Is this where the best doctors are? I don't understand. But the reason why I know she rides deep with me is she told my mama.
Because her mama was trying to make me leave.
My mother was like, well, listen, we're not going to have any people. Right. She was like, we're not going to have any people here visiting, we're not. And Jessica was like, oh, no, I don't have to go in. I'm going to sit right here with you. And my mother was like, well, what's your name? She said, Jessica. She said, wait a minute. Don't you live in Florida? She said, yeah, I came for the day. So it was instances like that made me say, yeah, those are the people that I thought I could roll with. It has been proven that I can roll with these people because she didn't care.
Those people weren't your friends. That's for everybody. There's a season for everything. Like that just means that for that situation, there were people that were there for that specific situation, because then God sends angels and you're being blessed by people who don't even know you. I know.
Okay. That's great. What you're saying is great. But what I'm saying is,
I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah, I hear what
you're saying.
To hear
that.
Right.
But I was at death's doorstep. Right. So what I'm saying to you is, anybody that loved me should have been trying to make their way to make sure their girl was okay. And the people that I knew I rolled deep with were there. And
well, all I have to say is that even though I was there, that is not enough, because you are hounding me right now
about a t-shirt.
About a t-shirt. That's all I want to say.
That's right. So why isn't the t-shirt in the mail?
You see what I'm saying, Latif?
I understand. Why is the t-shirt in the mail?
That's all.
But I need the white to speak, because I believe he's ready to bring some clarity.
No, he ain't.
No, it's not really. I was just going to expand on your seasons comment, and that some of our friends are salt and pepper, and some people are just garlic powder. You don't need certain friends all the time. Like
all the time.
Right. Hey, Dwight, what you saying is sometimes salt looks like sugar.
Auntie Audrey, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Auntie!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
We love you, Audrey.
Last night, happy birthday! Happy birthday! Oh, we're not saying another round. Okay.
Happy birthday!
She gonna take it to church in a second. Go ahead, keep going.
Right. She gonna do that. She gonna do that praise team. Right. She's gonna do that praise team.
She take it right to the praise team. right
Hey,
to the
the
pulpit.
praise
I'm
team.
like,
Have y'all
friend,
heard? Have you heard the Kirk
we do
Franklin
not need to
remix?
sing Luke like that. Come on.
Have you heard the
Stop
Kirk
it.
Franklin remix of the praise team of when he was cussing out his son?
Oh no, I have
That
not.
was
I have.
hilarious.
You broke.
He said,
Oh my God.
and everybody be like, he said, I dare you to come. You old. And they was like, That is like, oh.
That is
That's the one I sent with TC, I kill you. And he was saying this
TT, you
is
got
what
your
Kurt
hair
really wanted to say
braided.
Right.
When did you get your hair braided, TT?
yesterday.
it's cute.
Oh,
Nice.
it's cute.
You summer
She
ready.
rocking that.
You
She
summer
rocking that
ready.
peaches and
Yeah.
herb.
Summer.
TT peaches and herb.
Did she throw up the
Look,
shoulder?
let me tell
Did
you,
she,
let me tell you what I'm
She
really getting ready
did.
for.
did
She
she throw up
did,
the shoulder?
Latif. Yes, she
kick
did.
her head to
Yep,
the
she
curb?
did.
You saw that? I saw her kick it
Look,
out.
what I'm really getting ready for is it's the end of the year. And I'm going to have to work some magic so my seniors can get on out of here. This
Hey,
is long. It's
listen.
going to be some long days.
And the parents of seniors
I
appreciate
gotta
you.
send you.
We
I gotta send you this.
appreciate you.
That magic.
I gotta send you this, TT.
Did you
Oh,
guys?
that's hilarious.
Let me tell you this story about Ice Cube. So with his friend was
Easy.
it was
See what happened? You see what happened there, right?
and Eazy-E's daughter is doing a documentary. So I'm gonna just throw this out there. Eazy-E daughter's doing a documentary, and Ice Cube is not returning her phone calls. He is not readily available to be a part of his friend's life story told through the eyes of his daughter. Do y'all think he's wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you can at least give a over the phone interview or something.
But what we don't know is what
we don't know the nature
I don't know
of the
what
relationship.
I think there has to be more to the story.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know how she's trying.
There has to be some other context to it. Like I don't because
or him.
I mean, I think I'm giving. Obviously, we're on the outside looking in. I'm giving Ice Cube the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't come across as a person that would just straight shun, especially knowing the circumstances behind that, shun that man's daughter. So I'm gonna say that Ms. Mawkins, I'm gonna say that there has to be more to the story. It has to be some context to it.
So regardless of whether there's more to the story or whatever, that's a child, and you're the adult. And so if the child is trying to tell a story or the child is trying to do a project of some sort, if any of my friends, good, bad, and different, or anybody who I came up with,
there go that F word again.
Anybody, good, bad, and different, right? I'm going to answer the call for the child.
How old is the girl?
Because the child, regardless of how old, I'm
asking because you said it's legit. That's why I was asking.
No. So when I say
she's
jit, I mean,
she's grown.
Yeah, she's probably grown.
I was going to say.
I mean, she's probably grown, but still.
Somebody must have saved
but that's my homeboy child. So you know, I mean, in my eyes, it's still legit.
We're in a group, and you left your homeboy in the group because your homeboy wasn't really moving the way
with your money.
Right. Wasn't right.
Your homeboy didn't have your best interest at heart. Your homeboy had his best interest at heart. And then your homeboy ended up going down a road that let him not be here anymore. The situation.
He was on that road before that.
But then we reconciled. Then we reconciled.
Okay, somebody did you wrong and you accept their apology, but that doesn't mean that they're now back into your inner sanction of friends.
Right.
But he doesn't have to. I'm not saying that he has to give like all his time to her, but I mean, you can't just
all you gotta do is pick up the phone.
Well, the reason I bring up that we don't know the nature of the relationship is this could very much be a social media flex, meaning if I'm Eazy-E's, relative, and everyone knows Eazy-E connected to NWA, and I get out there and tell some media outlet Dr. Dre ain't returning my calls, and Ice Cube ain't returning my calls. It sounds like it's a catchy story, but you don't know. I mean, that's no guarantees that because I'm connected to Eazy-E that I know Ice Cube like that, or I know Dr. Dre like that. And so I'm not assuming that, but what I'm saying is we don't know the dynamics because you got to remember, Eazy-E passed in 1994. I don't.
Damn, that's a long time ago.
I don't know if Ice Cube and his daughter had something on. Like, it'd be different if Ice Cube was like her god daddy and that not return the calls, or we knew that they had relationship over a period of time.
Right.
But we don't know. We just don't know. And so
that's what I was saying. I agree.
We need more.
You don't know what that whole situation is. You don't know where she wants him to come in and talk about what. You know, what if she wants him to come and talk about their beef and he's like, nah, I'm straight. I don't need to talk about that.
Right.
You know, we don't know what it is. We have to know some more background. I
also can tell you from shooting a documentary that we're currently working on, there's this one particular person that's very pivotal to the story. And they said, no, I don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to share any. I'm like, okay, all right. No, actually, it's two people who don't want to have anything to do with. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the story. It has everything to do with what the documentary is about. Like they don't want to have.
But Jess, I also think you have a very valid point with regards to just the nature of Eazy-E and Ice Cube's relationship post NWA, because Ice Cube went on to basically become an independent artist and do his own thing. And like you said, we really don't know, even though the movie made it appear on the surface that they reconciled and that they were back in good graces, you still don't know the extent of that quote unquote good graces. So maybe there isn't no love lost. You know what I'm saying? He don't have no hate towards Eazy. But then maybe they really weren't friends like that after.
Right. Maybe
and that happens a lot of times in the music. That happens a lot of times in the music industry. Like when people fall out in the music industry, a lot of times, they fall all the way.
Especially when it has something to do with money. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think also back to your point, Miles. I mean, I can just tell you from me and my wife's perspective, we've been able to thrive off of other people not making mistakes or not allowing us to do stuff with them, or not doing business with them, right? And so we've been able to build other stuff off of somebody else telling us no. And then once you build it and it starts getting its legs and momentum, guess what? You're not turning back to go deal with them people.
Right.
That's because they're the very reason why you're thriving. They're part of the reason why you're thriving.
Oh wow!
So Ice Cube might be like, listen,
Eazy-E's son wasn't
I went solo because this dude wrecked this whole thing up. And so I went solo, went, got my money, understood the business. The last thing that I'm doing is going back into a bag of skeletons that might not have been positive in my life. So why would I want to deal with his daughter?
Talk about it.
Yeah, I'll give
also in the movie, if you notice.
No, Eazy-E's son wasn't volatile. He was very much of a
pacifist.
He was like a peacemaker. Like he wanted everybody to kind of get along. I never saw any him be volatile. Not everybody else children might have been, but not him.
You said children? You say children?
They was off the chain.
But also Eazy-E and Ice Cube, if you remember, according to the movie, Cube was really cool with Dre, and then Dre was kind of like he was like the in between, because he knew all the other people, and so Dre knew Eazy-E, and then he brought Eazy-E in, and then that's when Cube met E, and then things also went on.
Your AKA wife said, "What else need to be told?"
Yeah.
But like I said though, it was just, so therefore there really isn't an allegiance to it. I mean, to back up you guys' point and everything. I just feel, I mean, if a kid called me, I mean, I look at it from a mentoring perspective. I'm always trying to mentor, and I'm always trying to uplift the youth or what have you. And so therefore, if a child is trying to do something, then I will do my best to try and help that child.
Shout out to Latif.
I'll also say Latif before Dwight goes, and Dwight needs to get
I love you,
closing
Latif.
thought on this. That I think we can have this conversation in about 7 more years. Those things that you have planted right now, the things that you have planted right now, once they come into full bloom, and you have all of these different gatekeepers surrounding how people get to you, and your time is very minimal, because I'm just gonna tell you from my perspective, I can't do nothing else. I can't. I mean, you texting me, you emailing me, you messaging me on LinkedIn, you messaging me on Instagram, you sending me messages from the cloud. It's too much, and I know I'm nowhere near any of those people, but that within itself, communicating with people that are not in your circle, that's very exhausting and hard. Anyway, Dwight, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying we got to look at this in a modern context when we look at like DMX's life, right? So there's going to be a story told about his life. He has multiple children, and if 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, we hear that like one of DMX's kids tried to reach out to Jay-Z because they were on Def Jam, or tried to reach out to Eve because they were on Rough Riders, I wouldn't feel some type of way, because at the end of the day, we don't know the context of that relationship. So I think sometimes we conflate the notion of celebrity, going back to the earlier point around friendship. We don't necessarily know that because people were on a record label together or are in community together for a period of our lives, that they're actually friends.
Right.
All I know is Latif's gonna have to audition for that DMX part.
Right. Get the story from your mom.
Belinda, I'm coming home tonight, Belinda.
Did you see what Belinda said? Belinda said, "Get the perspective from your mama." Belinda.
Okay, that's the end of that one. That's the end of that one. Eddie George, round of applause. Yes. Eddie George, the head football coach for Tennessee State.
I like it.
SWB gonna be performing at every homecoming.
All I'm gonna say about that is that his press conference was a lot better than Hubert Davis.
Hubert Davis. I love my black wife. I love my black kids.
I love SWV. I love all their.
If you don't say my wife makes me weak in the knees, then
That was good.
At that point,
we'll go to the SSWWV.
I'm telling you, they're gonna anchor every homecoming like Frankie Beverly does. He's gonna be like, SWV again at Tennessee State.
Right. I think it's great though. I think it just HBCUs. I mean, have momentum, and not only just momentum, but it this is what it takes. All it takes is one, and then you see the momentum and the legs start to carry. And then next time you start seeing how even the NCAA will shift their thought process on really what HBCUs need to really thrive. Because, I mean, now I think the next thing is, as it expands, you're going to have to start giving more scholarships, more money back into the community, back into the schools to make them grow. You ain't got 100-year-old, campus and dining rooms and, dorm rooms and stuff like that. It puts pressure on them to be better.
Ultimately, Roy, I couldn't agree more, but I think that ultimately it's going to have to come down to the money, because ultimately that's the largest disparity between the Power 5 and HBCUs. So the first thing is the monetary value and the money that's invested to those programs. And secondly, it don't matter if you're Eddie George, if you're Deion Sanders, if you're Roy Modkins, or if you're Dwight Bullard. At the end of the day, you got to win. You gotta win. Because winning and success, it breeds more financial support. And then when you have the financial support, then you can make the petition to maybe get to one of the lower tier D1A conferences. And then you can make the petition to get to maybe a Power 5 conference or something like that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it just boils down to money and winning, period.
Winning. Well, it's going to start with winning. I'll give you a perfect example. A&T. It's a perfect example of an HBCU. When I met my wife, years ago, they weren't winning. And you might have one or two bright spots on the team that go to the league and go to the NFL. I'm talking from a football perspective. But what's happened with A&T is by them winning, that money starts to come back into your program. And then guess what? Now your track team is kicking people's butt. Your women's basketball team is doing wonderful things. Your men's it's a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but now here's the other part of it too, though. Once you start winning and get big, now do you stay with your conference and leave? I think that's another thing you're going to have to be faced with down the road.
Well, I think that facing that going down the road, you will probably have to go to a different conference or form a powerhouse black conference of some sort. But if you do decide to go into another conference, once you whoop every other PWI in that conference, and then you become the powerhouse and you bring other HBCUs in, I said that is going to be the key. But the Eddie George move, I hope it triggers a avalanche amongst all of the other prominent athletes out there to consider looking at these HBCUs and becoming a coach or what have you, because those PWIs ain't gonna give you a shot, and we already know the NFL ain't gonna give you a shot,
right?
And so therefore, when you do that, because you were prominent and you were a spectacle in the sport in the beginning, now you have Nike on your back, you have Under Armour on your back. Can't stand Under Armour, but you got them on your back.
I just want to tell y'all that Michael Jordan sponsored the A&T and another school when I was in school. They sponsored our basketball team, I think it was.
Yeah, I remember when they got sponsored by Jordan Brand.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
In the 90s.
It was in the 90s.
Aside from that, Latif, I think that the structure of historically of HBCU football has to be rearranged and realigned, because I think that a lot of times we're hurt by those classics. Because a lot of times those classics takes place like the first week of when the D1 AA playoffs is taking. We don't have.
There's only one classic that does that, and that's y'all's. Everybody else is good.
That's true though.
Everybody else is good. But now, it's only y'all.
A lot of those schools, fam is in the SWAC now. Fam is in the SWAC now, right?
Right. But they're not gonna play in the B. They're not gonna play in the Bayou. The Bayou is solid. Is locked.
But even though, like, we played in the playoffs in the rounds, right? We played in 2 rounds, and it's like you win the MEAC you won the MEAC. Okay, we won the MEAC, and then you go on to play these other schools that are outside of your conference, and you don't get to, it's like you don't get the shine that you really should get, which is why they made these classics, like the classic you talking about, like Gramblin's Classic, like not Circle City, Celebration Bowl. But they made those so we can get the shine, because we're not gonna get the shine. If we're just playing against
if you're talking about competing on a national level, you cannot limit yourself to playing just in those particular classics. Like, it has to be more on the table, because the money that's going to be funneled into that long term is going to far exceed the money that you're going to make and playing in those classics. So you got to broaden your horizon.
Let's take white capitalism out of it for a second.
Right.
What I mean by that is we're not even dreaming big about the notion of what the SWAC could be as a potential additional power conference. Like, that's what I like about the Eddie George and Deion Sanders hires, is the idea that you raise the level of competition within the SWAC, and then you start getting to situations where these little money games that these HBCUs have been playing now turn into
you versus fam.
We about to reduce these. We about to take out USF. We about to take out UM. We about to we're about to win these games, and now that's the thing. But we also have to remember about the embedded racism within the NCAA that keeps prohibiting the progress of HBCUs, and that's why I like the idea of us being able to play the big joker a little bit and be like, all right, not going to rock with us. We're going to bring in former NFL stars. That's going to bring in Pepsi. That's going to bring in Coke. That's going to bring in Under Armour. That's going to bring in Nike, because you can't escape the idea of a headlining event between Deion Sanders versus Eddie George as coaches, or Chad Ochocinco versus somebody, because they're on the coaching staff. Like those are kind of things that are going to ultimately come out of these like celebrity coaching hires. At least that's my hope.
Another thing that's going to start to close the gap is in Maryland, they passed the state legislation law that the federal funds that were coming to all of the state schools, it was heavily weighted for the PWIs, whereas the 4 HBCUs were given pennies on a dollar. And the 4 HBCUs in Maryland are University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Bowie State, Coppin State,
and Morgan
State. And so they just passed a law that they were awarded those federal funds. That is going to extremely close the gap and allow you to go out and possibly recruit, but then not only recruit, but then to elevate your schools to a higher level on the next level to compete against some of these PWIs. And so I hope that begins to spread across the nation. So it started in Maryland, and I hope it goes down to Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina.
It ain't gonna make it to Louisiana, sir.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, you got also what you're really saying, Latif. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're really saying is there's such a huge disparity, right?
Right.
I mean, we haven't even gotten to the part. We haven't even got to the part. I mean, when you talk about disparity, even with men and women's sports,
what the Celebration Bowl
and then you get disparity just the way how the money is even, or the scholarships, the number of scholarships. Back to Miles's point, it goes back to wins and losses, right? Once you start winning, or you get like a Dion or Eddie George in those positions, what we're doing is we're just taking it. We're forcing their hands. And it has to get to the point to where we can say yes or no, you are or not invited to the yard, right? And I think that's really where we're going with it, or HBCUs are going with it. Because the disparity is, here's the thing, we've been fighting and trailing 100 years behind all these schools because we don't necessarily have the funds. And they'll say, hey, let's just give this to you. Oh, now you start winning. Next when the ESPN starts showing up. Well, it has to get to the point to where we're saying, no, you're not invited to this thing.
Well, I think we also have to not play chess with these people. We can't play checkers. We need to start playing chess, because you best believe that they are looking around at the moves that these HBCUs are making, and they're going to counter, and they're going to make it hurt for us. Just my belief, because there's no way we're going to affect their dollars. Not pull out all of the 40 best chariots. I'm studying the Bible. Okay, let me try to think of something else.
I'm studying the Bible. Lord have mercy.
We know the Bible.
Go ahead, Jessica. We're not heathens.
We understand.
We're not heathens.
Jessica want to preach. She want to preach a shaman.
We're going to take up a collection before we get off.
Shut up.
Shoot, we need to throw our money in the collection pit for Mokita. When Mokita started talking about friends and showing up, and I was like, dog, Mokita, you preaching, girl. Here's my wallet.
Mokita had a testimony. She had a little testimony.
My goodness. Now, I always joke and say my wife is omnipresent, but she be floating around like Jesus all over the place.
I just want to open the floor. If anybody else out there got any more testimony they want to,
I didn't mean to go that
Thank you, big brother. Hallelujah. Jesus, thank you, big brother. Big brother, if you could please, big brother, pass the virtual collection plate from Cutler K on over into Cutler Bay so that we can get this money. Hallelujah.
That's right, Jody. Always want to be a part is not the best thing.
I was just trying to give my friend her flowers while she living.
Is there one?
Jody,
is there one?
Jody, always trying to be a part is not the best thing for us, and has not always been the best thing for us.
No, because listen, not every meal when you sit down at the table is good, right? So sometimes you got to reject them meals.
Which is why I said, hopefully, and this is just my dream, that it'd be a HBCU powerhouse conference. And we just mow down everybody, just like Tennessee State did in the basketball. Y'all need to watch that documentary. They
Well,
were.
and here's the thing. Back to here's the thing. Think about it. Me and Miles talked about this. When a lot of the HBCUs they win their tournament, right? When they win the tournament, you're supposed to get an automatic bid to the big dance.
Right.
You got to go back. Right, and then you got to go back around and play another team just to even get into the tournament. That's disparity right there.
And then when you get in, you play the number 1 seed.
Right, you're 16 seed against the number 1 seed.
Make sure
you already taking
it. And Roy, you like you said to your point, you're not even 16. You're like 20, and then they make you play the 16th team to be the 16th team to play the number 1 seed. Damn, y'all.
Yeah, that's why I like this year when both HBCUs won their playing games. It was just like, "What's up? We here."
Right.
Swag and me at. We in here.
Right. We in there.
Hey, listen, I don't know about y'all, but I was rooting for Baylor because Baylor was my honorary. They weren't HBCU, but I felt like they was an HBCU team beating the brakes off of Gonzaga.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
I know they ain't, but still.
No.
Which team was it?
We have no honorary.
That was Baylor.
No,
that was Baylor. That was Baylor who won it.
Southern, I guess.
No, I'm asking about which head coach was the one who received the automobile from that dealer, and he gave them the car, told them talking about go on and get your players from the hood.
That was Baylor. Matter of fact, Baylor. There's
Baylor's women's coach though.
No. It was the women's coach. But here's the thing: he kept offering this local dealership, the gym. When Baylor's women were winning it, they would give them a Corvette. So every time they won the big dance, they would give them a car. Well, this year the men's team won it, right? So they were interviewing the GM, talking about. He says, "Well, I can't give a Corvette because it's in such a high demand, but I have a Jeep. So now he can take this Jeep and go recruit these guys out of the hood." And so the Baylor coach, the men's coach, came back around and said, "No, thank you," which was the right thing.
100%.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, get the hell out of here. Like,
he need that damn job. About? That's why.
Hey, bro. See, and that again lets you know the innate racism that people have when it comes to us, and they think it's cool for you to even say some BS like that. So when they see me, they don't see, George Battle, the doctor. They don't see Thelma, the teacher. They don't.
Well, that's because you're not, Latif. You're the captain.
Get away.
Okay.
Get away, brother.
So, Dante Wright. No, not Dante Wright.
It's Lieutenant Nazario.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Dwight.
Oh no, I mean this at this point, everyone's seen this video. This is the black active duty Army lieutenant who was driving his new car that he had bought that had a paper tag. Police, basically pepper sprayed him, gave him all kinds of uniform while he was in his uniform. And it's like, not only the crazy part about it was, we talk about the use of body cams, but when you hear the kind of language that they were using on the body cam, like I think they told him at one point, "Do you want to ride the lightning?" And he was like, "I'm scared," and they were like, "You should be."
You should be.
And it was just like, and so it really bothers me.
None of that's a threat.
Yeah, it really bothers me that we talk about, like, for years, people are like, if we get body cams, that's going to be the thing. And it's like, police just like,
they don't care.
I don't care.
But it also lets you know that you still a NICA. Because here's the thing. Think about how Trump went on a rant about the military, how Colin Kaepernick was just, you just was rude to the military. This dude's in a uniform. I didn't see anybody in the military even step up and even talk about this guy being pepper sprayed.
Where the All Lives Matter?
Where is everybody?
Right?
So at my job, we have a huge military presence. A lot of them, and they talk about it. They talk about it. They always profess. I'm over there protecting your freedom. Mm-hmm. I'm over there protecting your freedom. So therefore, I don't need you over there protecting my freedom. Right. I need you right here protecting my freedom. You're supposed to defend that Constitution against terrorism, foreign and domestic.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You're supposed to do that. Here's a dude in his uniform fighting for our freedoms. And his freedom is being violated. His freedom is no longer justified, even in uniform.
I think. No, I wasn't trying to cut you off, big bro.
What I
was going to say was, if you look at the video and you pay close attention, the thing that had me very much awestruck about the entire situation was how calm Lieutenant was, and the tone in which he spoke, and the respectfulness, even though he was in the midst of a very stressful and duressful situation. And his demeanor throughout that interaction, throughout that situation, was very cool, calm, and collected. They had this, he just said, "My hands are out the window. Sir, what did I do wrong? Sir, what did I do wrong?" And to Dwight's point, they always talk about we should comply. We should acquiesce to police requests. We should do what they ask us to do. But here's one who did. Here's a gentleman who did. He did everything that he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? They tell you that you're well within your rights. That if you feel uncomfortable, that you can drive to a well-lit area so that you can be seen. And that's exactly what he did. And they made up all of these erroneous accounts about why they stopped him. Oh, we stopped him because his tints were too dark. Oh, we stopped him because he didn't have a tag. Oh, we stopped him because and all of it was refuted. So it's like
we can be in the bed asleep. We can be in the bed asleep. It doesn't matter where we are.
But this is the caveat, though. But this is the caveat.
You're right, Mokiaka.
This is the caveat. hey, you talking about? Hey man, you talking about Virginia? You talking about a state that was the capital of the Confederate?
Right.
Hey boy, and they hold true to that. I went to school in Virginia at Hampton University. Hey boy, I'm gonna tell you, driving through that town and driving on 58, getting to Hampton, man, I did 5 miles below the speed limit.
Speaking of which, did you see the video of the brother went 5 miles below the speed limit and still got pulled over? Like
exactly.
That's one of the new videos where the dude was just like, "What did I do wrong?" He was like, "What?" He was blown away, and the officer couldn't provide him nothing, and going to still give him a citation. Talk about this is a warning, you could throw it away. But I was just like, you pulled him over for going 65 in a 70.
Right.
And he was like, it was awkward. It was.
Virginia has always been that way. When Michael Vick.
One moment, Lateef. We only have a few more minutes on the show, and I don't want us to leave without Dwight giving us an update on the Chauvin trial.
Yeah. Well, real quick. So the defense rested its case. Monday is closing arguments for the Derek Chauvin trial. The crazy thing about this week was he took the Fifth Amendment. He pled the Fifth Amendment that he would. He said that he would not take the stand in his own defense, but then he used the Fifth Amendment as an invocation to not take the stand. And what people don't fully appreciate about the Fifth Amendment is it is the right to remain silent so that you do not end up incriminating yourself. So it leads me to believe, right, that had he been put on the stand and put under cross-examination and asked a simple question like, why would you not get off the man's neck after you already had him in handcuffs? And he honestly couldn't answer that. You know what I mean? Like, and therefore could not justify why he did what he did, right? I mean, I get that, but what I'm saying is like, I think he's trying to use the system and the loopholes in the justice system to try and get himself off, because had he taken the stand, he would have ultimately had to admit that he did not follow procedure, did not follow protocol, and actually had violated the man's human and civil rights. And that's something he didn't want to walk into. And now he's hoping that there's enough reasonable doubt, which if you watch the trial, you can't say that there was, but he's hoping there's enough reasonable doubt without his, without him saying anything, him to get off. So I'm still, listen, the closing arguments are Monday. That means jury deliberation is going to start next week. It's either going to come back really quick. If they take too long, I'm going to be a little skeptical about it.
If it takes too long, get your bulletproof vest out, grab your pistols.
Grab your kids, grab your
It's
wife.
not going to be, I just don't think it's going to be ugly. I mean, it's going to be ugly because, think about it. We're not talking about something local. We're not talking about something that's just statewide. We're talking about something that affected the whole world.
They said this is a pivotal point in our Minnesota.
Right. And here's the other thing, too. This boils down to humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in order, they need unanimous consent from the jury, which means all it takes is one person to hold the whole thing up and declare a mistrial, which means if you got one person who's a white supremacist on that jury, one person who just can't contemplate that a police officer can do wrong, that could literally upend the whole thing and force them into having to do this all over again. And that's the dangerous part about what's about to happen.
I pray they do the right thing because to me, this boils down to humanity.
Right.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it's not going to be pretty, Roy. People are already set right now. All they need is one thing to hit
one thing.
And you already got Dante Wright happening in Minnesota, right? So it's already a powder keg to begin with.
So Dante Wright, officer. Did you hear that the officer is out on bail now?
Yeah,
for the murder of Dante Wright.
$100,000 bail. And just to give you context on that one, Jessica, is they just sentenced the brother who killed the white woman in Minnesota. He just got hit with a 3rd-degree felony, guilty, black officer, killed a white woman. Same circumstances as Dante Wright. He made the claim, I didn't know I was pulling my gun. He got hit with a 3rd-degree felony. She's only getting hit with a manslaughter charge, again, for the exact same occurrence. So if you don't think race plays a factor in this thing, all you got to do is look at the state of Minnesota. Black man killing a white woman, you going to jail for murder. White woman killing a black man,
And he was a police officer?
Yeah. And this all happening in Minnesota.
This happened with the little boy that was 13? They told him to put his hands up, and he put his hands up, and they shot him.
Oh, Chicago is just. They need to change their name from the Windy City to the Bloody City, man. They on some next level stuff. And then the black woman mayor taking all the smoke for these police officers who just out there being reckless.
Right.
Because they tried to say he had a gun until the body cam footage came out, and the body cam footage is him like this, and
the gun was over to the side.
You can clearly see his hands.
He was like this.
Like this.
They murdered old boy.
And then they talking about he had a split-second decision to make.
Yeah.
No. I'm not denying the split
7th grade.
I'm not denying the split second. I'm not denying the split-second decision. But dude, if you already drawn and you have yours here, and you say stop, put your hands up, and the dude turns around with his hands up, what's the split-second decision that you're trying to make?
Right.
They wanted to see the complexion of his skin. They were just like, oh, he's browner than we need him to be, so let's take him out. No one will notice.
I know. I feel the same way, Jessica.
Look, I was looking for something petty. We don't got nothing petty today.
I'm gonna tell you what's petty. Joe Biden had a dog that bit not only one person but 2 people.
The dog did.
And then what you? Joe Biden's dog.
They tried to train the dog, and he's still
Then they tried to train the dog. Come on now. I'm gonna be petty about that.
That's not good.
No, it's not good.
But I'm gonna be petty about that because if it was y'all dog and I ain't got a dog, y'all already know what would happen to y'all dog. So I'm gonna be petty.
You the president.
That's petty. That's petty.
What was their dog name? The Obamas. Bo. What was his name?
Bo.
If Bo had bit somebody, they'd have put him down. You already know.
Bo would have been out the game.
But they would have hung.
His dog's name was
They would have hung up from the tree.
Jody said they got
a dog from the hood.
Oh, Belinda said
Joe Biden.
rescue dog.
Joe Biden dog name is
Well,
King.
if he's a rescue dog,
Definitely.
okay, they rescue him. Okay, I
Right.
was gonna say,
Belinda, where my dogs at? Where my dogs at, Belinda?
Oh my God.
Right, shut up.
Hey man.
Belinda, where my dogs at?
Hey, she is a huge DMX fan. I mean, beyond measure. Like,
is that Latif? Is that Latif about to audition for a DMX role? What's he doing in line?
Right. Oh no, it ain't gonna be that. It's gonna be criticism. Okay, so you know when you gotta say it like this, and if you don't rap like this, don't do it.
What you say, T? You need more R's in your grr. You're like,
right.
You can't just stop it.
I can't just stop it. I gotta be like, I mean,
at least 4 R's in the grr.
I mean.
I'm so glad to be back. I'm so
glad you're back.
And hopefully everybody next week we will have a little more petty to just pour in on you, because I'm telling you, it's getting real. It's not getting.
It's getting back.
Already there.
It's going.
But I got some pettiness for you though. I got some
It is what it is.
I can't even look on stuff.
Yeah.
Look
Real life.
Pettiness for you. You got Sharon Osbourne. Cheryl Underwood should have went slap off on her and be like,
Cheryl said she was not just representing herself. She was representing Ebony. She was representing April. She was representing Nikita. She was representing me.
And she was representing me. She would have slapped her. She wasn't representing me.
She would have an angry black girl.
But this is the thing. They always want to portray us. They always want to portray us as angry black man and angry black woman. But the atrocities that have been done to us, they don't never acknowledge those things as to the reason why we have to be defensive and why we have to be aggressive or what have you. Because y'all keep doing this to us, and y'all keep doing it. And so whenever I bring it up, now all of a sudden I'm the angry black man. Now I'm angry.
Dwight, you're not aggressive. You're assertive, sir.
Why you look like that? Why you look like that? Bro, I can't help the way I look. I'm dealing with what the good Lord gave me. I'm trying to, I exfoliate. I do everything I can.
I love it.
Thanks for joining us. Peace.